Hey everybody, it's zjayfi here. I wanted to do a quick video. I recorded this footage of myself just blasting my way through this mission with a DPS build. I was just curious to see if I could even do it. I finally got a triple god rolled Providence Sacrifice Perfect Glass Cannon chest piece out of the summit, so I was just field testing it. Well, mostly I wanted to talk a little bit about the philosophy of DPS and some of the changes to the summit and a few other topics like group composition. So I'm just going to kind of see where this goes. I'm basically just ad-libbing it, probably talk a little bit about my gameplay as we get to interesting sections of the mission here as well. So first off, the title of this build, or the title of this video is you don't kill enemies with armor. And that has always been a philosophy of mine. When I started playing Division 2, I was always looking to stack the absolute max damage possible, regardless of survivability. Now, in Gear 1.0, that always meant running Berserk, and survivability did become a factor in raids. But the funny thing about Gear 1.0 is that critical hit damage was extraordinarily hard to stack in any build other than one very specific build, which was all reds max crit damage. You know, the TAC 50 critical hit build for Razorback was the one build that was all reds, all DPS, all everything. Almost every other build in Gear 1.0, just because of the nature of the system, ended up having at least a couple of blues in it. I don't know why. That's just the way that it was. Or at least some reds and yellows. The way that gear was designed, weapon damage was only available on backpacks, gloves, and chest pieces. Everything changed with Gear 2.0, and now it's much, much more common to see people running with all 6 reds and trying to max their crit damage out with a build like this. There are a couple of things that detract me from running this build very often, and I'll be perfectly honest, ever since I started running a skill build, that has been my go-to primary build for solo play. Has been the 3-piece hardwired, 2-piece Hannah, 1 Wyvern, assault turret, striker drone build. If you ask me, that is the most efficient, safest way to clear heroic content. And as you can see, I got forced behind that pillar with almost no life left, no health of any kind, and it was a very, very close call. And while I really, really enjoyed those close calls, in challenging Gear 1.0, heroic was only available for the 3 invaded missions. It wasn't until Gear 2.0 that, Warlords of New York, that you were suddenly able to run every single mission on heroic. You usually only had 3 a week that were available on heroic, and they were always against Black Tusk. You could never run heroic against every faction until Warlords of New York. So, since we were grinding, challenging constantly, I was never scared of wiping. Well, in the Gear 2.0 system, if you wipe here, that's it. It's a wrap. You're back to the beginning. There's no checkpointing. And so my philosophy has gone toward, I'd rather have that hard-hitting glass cannon skill build where I stay in cover and the skills do the work for me, like rather than this particular build, which pulls an insane amount of aggro and also takes 60% more damage and requires me to expose myself constantly. Now, you could put a striker drone into this build, or a assault turret, absolutely, and it might pull a little bit of aggro, but honestly, I'm running 6 reds, so it's going to be a tier 0 assault turret. It's going to do next to no damage, and therefore whatever I'm shooting them with is going to hit so much harder that I am going to pull their aggro, not the assault turret. Now, it might pull the aggro off a couple of people that I have not yet engaged, but anyone I'm engaged with, anyone who's taken a bullet off one of my guns, is immediately going to turn all their attention to me and forget about that turret in half a second. It's just the way the game is programmed. builds like this in Legendary, I've never been a big fan of. I do like to have one on the team, but I like to have one. I do not like to have any more than that on a Legendary team. And that person needs to stay back. They need to take care of themselves. Fortunately, they still allow us to leave the group and come back with a Reviver Hive, which makes that person basically self-reviving. So you don't necessarily need a medic. But me personally, I would not enjoy running something like this in a Legendary. You just get mutilated constantly. Even in the raid, I find this too squishy. Unless it's a quick burn, one-shot kill. For example, Lieutenant Gray, or the way Buddy and Lucy used to be before. Well, any of them, I guess, in Gear 1.0 before they took the overdamage tactics out of the raid. So, for example, I wouldn't mind running this build at all in a headshot build for Weasel. Be no problem, because they're going to be down so fast that it's not going to make any difference. This is funny. I'm just watching myself having to throw grenades at this guy who will not get out of cover. But anyway, if it's a one-shot burn that you're trying to do, I have no problem with Perfect Glass Cannon. But anytime I'm going to be exposed, I don't particularly care for this. I don't know. I guess it's just my philosophy. I'd much rather go with the skill build, or is something like Morozova or Captain Williams in the second raid, Iron Horse. I would much rather have Unbreakable, or even Obliterate, or Spotter if I'm really looking for damage. Just the amount of damage that you take off of this is just drastic. And it's great for a skill build, Glass Cannon, because you just hide behind cover, let your skills do their thing. And then when I do pop up with my rifle to proc and sync, I'm getting a nice chunk of damage with my rifle as well. It works out fantastic. And the skills take the aggro. That's the important thing. Now, I've considered trying to build like this with maybe a decoy or something, but then you are losing your healing skill, which, as you've seen, this fixer drone has been absolutely vital to my survival. Now, I'm sure you could put in some other kind of, like I said, a decoy or some other kind of skill to pull the aggro, like an assault turret or something, but you'd be burning up through some armor kits, that's for sure. And then you're going to have even more close calls than the one I'm looking at right here, which is, that could have gone either way right there. That was about a flip. He was putting up an assault turret of his own, and he was about to take cover, at which point I'm basically screwed because I had nowhere to retreat to in that position other than just jump over the balcony and pray he don't hit me in time. So these are just some philosophical ins and outs of running DPS, which has always been that I would much rather have damage, all of it, all the damage that you can possibly carry. But that was for Gear 1.0. That was a 1.0. I can't believe I survived that right there. That was the Gear 1.0 philosophy, where the types of loadouts were different. And Glass Cannon was not even an option back then. You didn't take 60% extra damage. But once again, it was also philosophically different because we were always running challenge for targeted loot. Generally, there was heroic available for three given missions a week. So we did run those from time to time, but they were a lot different because they were always against Black Tusk, and it was very, very rare for me to run a full-on insane crit tac 50 build through that. I was always running just a regular Berserk DPS build with some survivability attached to it. So I guess I'm just saying that things are definitely different in Gear 2.0, and that's why I don't find myself running a build like this a whole lot. I absolutely enjoyed this particular run through. I really enjoyed the new summit now that there is customizable targeted loot for everybody. All 4 people on the team can be running some 4 different targeted loots. We can all be looking for our own thing, and then if somebody's looking for something specific in your targeted loot, you're looking for something in mine, we can both be looking for each other's items out of each other's loot pool. And then if we don't maybe a guy on my team's looking for a Cheska chest piece, and I'm running Cheska, but I'm looking for a Cheska backpack. He's running Providence. He's looking for a Providence chest. I'm looking for Providence holster. We could share with each other, double, triple, quadruple our chances of catching that. And also the quality of loot in the Legendary Summit has gone up considerably. The quantity does not seem to have gone up a whole lot. Just that first couple of days it was out of control, but now it seems to have leveled off. But nevertheless, we grinded from floors 1 all the way to 100 in Legendary. 3 directives or 4 directives most of the time, and we really had a lot of fun with it and got a ton of great loot. That's where I got that triple god roll sacrifice that I'm running right now. But I think a good chunk of the build that I'm wearing in this video actually came recently. The Grupo backpack that I'm running, the Providence holster that I'm running, all came from that, just because they were marginally better than ones that I had before. So there's really a lot of reason to grind the summit, and it's really the only thing to grind at the moment. There's not been a whole lot of people online lately. It seems like the game's slowing down, and it's year 2. I get it. They need to come up with some additional replayable content that's more than just a grind for more gear, if you ask me. Maybe something that like survival from D1, maybe something that includes a little bit of PvP or even a battle royale, or I'm not really sure what would make this a valuable commodity into year 3. What would make people really want to get online and play other than something like that? I'm not sure. So yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying the summit, but it's just grinding for gear for the sake of getting better gear. But to do what with it? What exactly would you do with it? At this point, second raid is pretty much solved. Pretty much done everything that I want to do with the second raid. I do want to speed run it, but there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of interest in my clan right now at the moment to speed run the second raid. We have a 50-minute time, pretty respectable. I don't really, unless I have 8 people who really want to commit to getting a sub 30-minute run, 25-minute run. I just don't see us speed running, because a lot of people have moved on to other games and only come back, as dilettantes. They wouldn't want to grind it every single night like we did Dark Hours, which, it's okay. Nothing lasts forever. It's just things are changing. I don't know if Summit's even going to keep me around forever. Coming up next week, we got Watch Dogs Legion. I'm definitely going to play that. I was a little bit disappointed with Watch Dogs 2, but I did play it for a good couple of weeks, and I enjoyed it, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the first Watch Dogs as well. I've also been playing a video game called Control lately, which is just an absolute riot. It's pretty short, but if you got $40 and you want to have a good time, Control, I would highly recommend. It is out there, but it is really a great time. Check it out. I think that's just about all I can think of to say regarding Division 2 at the moment. Game is slowing down. Summit is in a great spot right now. I think it's as good as it could be. The only problem with it is that it's just grinding for the sake of grinding, and we need more high-end endgame content. Now, the legendary stuff in Summit is a lot of fun, but since there's nothing but the exotic cache now that you can get from the Summit, I'm not really sure what they could do with it to make, what could they do to make really interesting permanent endgame content. I don't know. I've always wished that they would give us, they could have kept episodes 1, 2, and 3. They could have kept Summit. They could have kept a lot of the stuff that they've put in this game, in my opinion, and I would have much rather us be on Raid 4 by now. I really enjoy the raids. That's always been one of the big parts of this game for me. I've been playing since before the first raid even came out. I've been playing since before Tidal Basin even existed. Gear score 450 was the highest you could get to when I started playing this game. So, seen a lot of changes over the time, and a lot of the changes, it's like, man, I'd give it back to you in preference over a new raid, namely Kenley College. Kind of excited about this new Kenley College event they got coming up, which they're calling Nightmare. I'm really hoping this ain't zombies. Ugh, good God, like there's not enough other zombie experiences elsewhere. You want zombies, you can get that anywhere. I just don't feel like it belongs in the Division 2 universe. The seasons I have enjoyed. They're really, really short because you can grind everything in under a week. But I do like that they're giving us a new gear set. I do like that they're giving us, new exotics. They're giving us new named items, giving us new brand sets. I like all that. I like all that stuff. I even have started to enjoy the manhunts and the story continuation. I thought New York was a great add-on. For me, I think the stuff that's really replayable is the team stuff. And stuff that you can't grind solo. So like the raids, I wish they had more, even if they were just kind of like 4-person mini raids. They could be, just missions that had more mechanics involved than just shooting. Things that involved heavily amounts of teamwork. Another thing that I think could drastically increase the longevity for this game is they need to add legendary difficulty to all the New York missions. They need to add legendary difficulty to at least half a dozen, maybe 10 more of the missions in this game. And they don't necessarily have to be White Tusk, but they need to be something with interesting boss mechanics. All 3 of the Stronghold legendaries have unique boss mechanics or unique boss encounters. Capital has the area that's covered with health kits or health boxes. That's very, very difficult to deal with. Legendary DUA has a really unique boss, so you have to pop his backpack, and boy is that backpack tough. And then Legendary Roosevelt obviously has the double aerial drones. That's very, very difficult. All of them are unique challenges. If they were to put these sort of teamwork oriented mechanics into throughout the game, or just give us some more of that, I really loved the new versions of Roosevelt and the new version of Tidal Basin they give us every season. I hope they have a good one in store for season 3 when we finally do get that last manhunt target. I always thought that those are really, really good. Those are kind of like mini raids, but once again, they should be available on heroic and legendary first run, and they should contain mechanics that we're not necessarily familiar with, like Roosevelt in the very first one contained those EMP jammers, which were a new thing at the time, and we weren't really sure how to deal with them the first time we went in there. Yay, exotic. So yeah, I think there's a lot of life left in this game, and I think Massive could turn it around. The thing for me, and I know it's just my opinion, maybe I'm an outlier, but would be more mechanic-based team play. Now, there's not a whole lot of mechanics in the Summit. It's just kill everybody that's in your path. There are some mechanics. There are EMP rooms. There's drone jammer rooms. There's shade box. Stuff like that, but it's all just capture, shoot, destroy. I really think we're looking for more stuff like bosses that have to be dealt with in a unique fashion. We're looking for raid-style mechanics that require cooperation and communication, and for me, that would be really the way for them to go. So anyway, thanks for watching. Remember, you do not kill enemies with armor. You kill enemies with skill builds and DPS builds, and those are the only 2 builds you should be running unless you're in a raid and then you have one person maybe running a Vanguard. Maybe. Alright, so thanks a lot. Hope you guys got something out of this. Have a great night.
Also, Kelso just reported in to confirm the survivors from the castle settlement have safely reached the rooftop settlement. There's no one doing what happened to them, but at least you've made sure it won't happen to anyone else.